So now that we have basic text established and what you can do with it, there's loads of options within the paragraph tab that allows you to adjust even further. So if you don't have access to this panel, you might find it in View, Studio, and Paragraph. So bundled with this is more options than you'd find in, say, Photo or Designer, those apps. And with this, we can adjust things such as drop caps, hyphenation, bullets, initial words and decorations, things like that. So maybe we'll go into flow options just to give you an example. So you can keep where paragraphs trail, say, hey, keep the previous paragraph, or prevent orphan lines, just all these kind of constraints that can bundle up when you do author more text in a text frame. So you'll see how this one ends and just starts on the next line. If you uncheck that, you'll see the paragraphs just kind of blend. You can prevent widows, which is great. You can keep with the next lines. You can do any of that stuff, as well as tell it where to begin, basically on the next page, in the next column, the text frame, anywhere. So with that, flow options can be very useful in terms of creating very dynamic flowing content from page to page, which is absolutely essential when you have long form content. Hyphenation is a big one. Typically, you could probably just use auto, and it will auto complete any hyphenation or full words that get trailed to the next line. You might want to adjust those accordingly. Here you have tons of properties to go ahead and do so. I'll leave that unchecked for now. With that, we can also insert drop caps, which is great for just kind of signifying the beginning of a space in a chapter of a book or a publication, something like that. Here, since I have the whole text frame selected, it's going to enable them for each paragraph. And while that's useful, I'd rather just have the first one. So what you can do is select into the first one, have your cursor highlighted into it. You'll see it's up here in the top left if you look close. And it looks like it's because I'm using filler text. This is going to make a difference. So let me use my other text. So say it's like that, and we want to adjust just this first paragraph to have a drop cap. We can enable it just to do that. You'll just need to make sure your cursor is within that actual paragraph and active at the same time. You can adjust the drop cap distance and set its own style here if you want to go ahead and create a global style that you use throughout. You can adjust the height in lines. So right now it's set to 3. You'll notice that the paragraph uses 3 lines to indicate how high this actual drop cap is. If you want that to 4 or 2, you'll see that the, of course, letter grows in the size, which is great. You don't have to adjust any of the settings yourself, which is something I feel like I used to have to do with InDesign as opposed to this software. So great, so our first paragraph set up. We can do something like initial words of each paragraph too. So you can adjust how many words you want to indicate for each paragraph and set maybe a strong emphasis on those. Since I have just this one selected, it's going to only affect that paragraph. But if I take my cursor out and select the whole text frame, I'll do that again, re-enable it, and you'll notice each paragraph adjusts to that. And then finally, you can set up decorations if you want. So maybe I'll do at this paragraph, I'll set a decoration. There is a set decoration here. We can adjust just maybe the right side or the bottom, essentially adding a border. And left will actually go a little bit more. So we have kind of a stroke at the bottom or the beginning of that paragraph. And of course, you can add more than one decoration here or adjust it however you please. Great, so with that extra step, you can go ahead and just modify to your heart's content the text frame throughout. These styles can be duplicated and used for all of your columns if you want specific styles or global styles. So feel free to experiment with that. More of the advanced settings are just going to be within the content itself, so you can always modify those to your liking. I think consistency is key, so definitely use something that's going to be used throughout so it's not very distracting for the user or whoever's reading the document. That would maybe make the content less absorbable, in a lack of a better term maybe. So that's a quick tip on the advanced text styles. Feel free to experiment with those. If you find any or want to share any more, feel free to comment those below this video. Thanks.